to you. And these are programs that are really not available really outside of Central Florida. It was a kind of an idea that our past president had to be able to provide short-term, fast training in with in-field or high-demand areas that need skilled workers, and to help people start careers. And so this is a very unique concept. It's been going on since about 2015, but it has really been booming since around the last 5 years or so. So I'm going to go through what the programs do, how you get into them, what kind of programs we have, what kind of careers, what kind of opportunities, what some of these things are. I hope I can give you good information and kind of entertain you at the same time with some pretty cool stuff. So, you know, no matter where you are in life, if you graduated from high school, or you're in high school, or you've been out and about for a while, you always have choices, and you always have choices as to what you can do. And a lot of times knowing what some of the opportunities are out there to be able to upskill or to start a career, sometimes we don't know what those things are, right? We look at things as a job versus looking at something that could be a career. And so what we're doing is providing opportunities to start careers. We don't want to just get you into a place where you get a job and then you get another job and you get another job. We want you to be in a position where you start a career and then you develop and grow in that career, and, you know, quite frankly, make solid money and have solid opportunities. And those opportunities are protected almost in the sense that they're in fields where people need you. So we don't put any programs out there where there aren't high demands in the workplace. Okay, so what are accelerated skills training programs? They're fast. They're anywhere from 2 to 28 weeks long. Every one of them has an industry certification that you can earn, or multiple. They are nationally recognized, and that means you can take it out of the state of Florida or any county in Florida, and they're going to be recognized as significant accomplishments or showing that you have the skills to be able to do that particular job. They're portable. Again, that means you take them with you. They don't, in many cases, most cases, they don't expire. And so you take them with you. They become part of your resume, part of your portfolio. We do these curriculums in partnership with industry. So we'll bring in Coke and Pepsi, Lockheed Martin, Duke Energy, Gatorade, you name it. We've brought the companies in, and we're very fortunate because we have a lot of industries that are very, very much wanting to partner with us. And because of that, they're willing to share their expertise and what their needs are. So when we train people in these programs, we're training them in the things that people want in terms of the hiring needs of the industry. So that makes it a really nice match for those that are taking the program. By the way, I should mention, all of these photos that you're seeing are our students or our instructors. So the gentleman in the middle, that's Will, and he's our master welder, actually, and he's actually going over something for a welding class in that picture. The programs are hands-on. So the best way to learn these skills is to do the skills. If you're going to be a welder, you got to weld. If you're going to be a truck driver, you got to drive a truck. If you're going to drive a bulldozer, you got to drive a bulldozer. And that's the only way that you're going to learn it and get confidence in it. So for those of you that don't like to see PowerPoint slides, I know I'm using them tonight, but I'll show you some props very soon. I can tell you that these are about, of a day, about 20% of your day will be in a classroom, seeing it, learning the theory, learning the skill, and the rest of the time you're out in the bay or the lab or in the yard, and you're actually doing those skills. So if you're learning how to do crown molding, you're going to do crown molding right after you've learned it and seen how it's actually done. The class sizes are small. Average class size is 12 students. And we do that for a couple of reasons. One, safety. Safety is number one and is absolutely paramount, not only in the classroom, but you must be safe when you're in the workplace. And the only way to learn that is to make sure that you actually practice it and learn it while you're in school. So we really harp on that, and we make sure that our instructors are there to make sure that you're safe always. Also, you get that one-on-one attention or small group attention. And I think that that's super helpful to people as well. And then each class operates like a workplace. So we expect you to be there on time. We expect you to go through and do the classwork, meet the standards of the program and graduate. We want everybody to graduate, and we want everybody to then seek a job in field that will help you to start your career. So what's also different about these programs is that they don't follow a typical semester. So if you're thinking, oh, I can only get them in January, I can only get them in the summer term, or I can only get them in the fall. No, we start and stop programs all the time. Again, some of them are 2 weeks long, some of them are 28 weeks long. And we're always starting and stopping programs. Placement assistance, we help you to find a job. We don't guarantee you're going to have a job, but we help you to find a job. Our objective is that 80 to 85% of our students graduate and get a job in field. And I'll show you some of the companies that we actually place with on a routine basis in just a little bit. We also do help you with your resume. We also do financial literacy, because our hope is that you'll make money. And when you make money, we'll help you to figure out some ways to manage that money. Workplace skills will help you to learn what the workplace environment will be like and how to adapt to that workplace environment. Also, every one of our programs articulates, which means it applies to a degree at Valencia. So it means you earn credit that you can transfer over to a degree. So if you wanted to go get an AA or an AS degree at Valencia, you would kind of be doing dual work at the same time. You get your credentials, get your skills training, and then you could take those credits and apply those to a degree. So you can kind of do both if you actually want to. You also get a Lynx bus pass for those of you that may want that. It's good for 1 year, and it's basically using your Valencia ID. So if you have that with you, you can get on the bus. A couple other things, and I'll show you the programs next. These are all the things that also come with the program. Some of these I've already mentioned as well, but I really wanted to hit on the industry certifications. That's what the employers are looking for. So if you want to go to Lockheed Martin, for instance, and you have certifications, you have a very good chance of being interviewed, number one, and potentially being hired. If you don't have those certifications, they tend not to even give you an opportunity, because they want to know that you have a base level skill that they're interested in then grooming and making or helping you get to a higher level. So it's super important for these companies to see that you have those certifications. As a matter of fact, we give you the certificates when you graduate, but we also allow you to take pictures of all the work that you've done, so you can actually show like a video resume and actually show that, hey, look what I did. I know how to do this. The programs themselves are there to help give you the confidence and give you the skills to get into these careers. So what kind of programs are we talking about? All of these are 10-week programs. And I'm going to go over them really quickly, because you can ask me questions if you'd like a little later. These are all in the construction area. So we have 4 different areas that we have programs. One is construction. The second one is advanced manufacturing. We also have healthcare, and then we have transportation and distribution. Our residential maintenance program is basically looking at any program that is, or any building that needs maintenance or needs things to be fixed. So think of it like the ultimate handyman program. It goes into things like this pipe that I'm holding, right? How you put this together, how you assemble it, how you glue it together. Super important that you know what you're doing on that, because if you don't do it right, it's going to leak. And you know what happens when you get a leaky pipe. Not a good thing. So we're going to teach you how to do it correctly. Everything from installing a dishwasher or a garbage disposal to fixing a pipe, putting in a faucet, hanging a ceiling fan, patching drywall. All of that comes with that program. And what happens after that is you are able to get a job let's say as an apartment maintenance technician, where you can not only do the work there, you could potentially live there if you're looking for a place to live, and you can get a reduced rent when you do that. So huge benefit there. The other thing that's really good about that is if you don't have a car or you don't want to drive to work, you're going to actually work at work, work where you live. And so that also creates an opportunity where you don't have to have a car, have to travel. The second one in the middle is carpentry. And you're noticing they're building a small house there. Yeah, we build tiny houses and we build other structures. And what we do there is we do it from the ground up. So you do the base, you do the studs, you do the wall, you do the roof, you do everything. We even drywall it. And depending on the time of the class, we'll do even more around trim work and cabinetry work. Right here, if I can do this, is one of the cabinets that one of the students made for me just as a prop. But you can see that if you can see it, there's angles on this that actually are not easy to do. There's also what's called a CNC machine where you actually can make a design on the front of the cabinet. So this is actually not basic carpentry. This is actually advanced carpentry. And then there's even further advanced carpentry that is also taught depending on how much time we're able to give in the class toward those things. Okay, the last one here is a residential commercial electrician. So if you want to start your career as an electrician, this is the place to go, because in 10 weeks, you're going to learn how to bend pipe, thread wire, do circuits, panels, boxes, and components. We actually have a lab where we strip it down every time and then have the students rebuild all the electrical in the room. So it's a studded out wall. You have to bend the pipe, hang the fan, hang the boxes, make everything turn on and work. So it's really, really cool. It's very, very hands-on. Moving along, these are newer programs that we just started. And so I like to batch those together. Robotics and semiconductors. If you remember back when we had the issues with cars and other components not being available, it was semiconductors that was the problem, and it was during COVID. And so there's a very, very big demand for semiconductors to be created in the United States versus outside the country. And there's a lot of money that's being put into this in Central Florida. Osceola County just got $17 million for Neo City to be doing more with semiconductors, and Orange County is getting money as well. So we're teaching robotics and semiconductors, and we're teaching robotics. So this is my little robot, my little model of my robot, if you can see it. And you can see it on the picture as well. We actually have the students put this together, code it, operate it, and make it do a complete assembly line using the robots. So if you're into that kind of tech, it is very hands-on. It's very much in the problem-solving mode, and it's, again, in very high demand. If you think about all your theme parks that are around there, all of them are using robots to move things around, animatronics and things like that. So we also have a clean room that was it's actually a mock clean room that actually will simulate what it's like to work with robots in a clean room to make semiconductors. And again, high value in today's market, growing field, a field that's going to be really nice in terms of pay as it progresses. And then precision optics and photonics. Everything that you're seeing right now, the camera that I'm using, your phone, all of anything that you're seeing from a visual perspective is through precision optics and photonics. It's using lenses and light to produce an image. You'll see it on everyday things that you're using, like we're doing today, but it's also used for precision guidance systems and things like that for companies like Lockheed Martin. There's over 120 different photonics, optics, and devices on an Apache helicopter. So just that one machine itself has multiple opportunities to work on different parts on that particular machine. We just started an HVAC program. It's 15 weeks long. That will give the student an opportunity to start from the ground level on how to do AC. So we start with an empty room, and we have 15 booths for that. And everybody will basically assemble their own air conditioning system, including the blower, air handler, duct work, all of it. So you learn from the start to the finish until it gets kicked on and it starts blowing cold air or hot air. That is critical, obviously, in the state of Florida, right? But we also know that there's a very large void. If you've ever had to wait for air conditioner help, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're backed up because they don't have enough people. A couple more I'm going to go over here for you. Electrical power line. For those of you who like to work outside, like to climb, like to be a little adventurous, don't mind being the first one out there after the storm, like to be a hero, so to speak, when the storm is over and you get my lights back on. Those are the people that we're looking for. Men and women, they're looking for you 18 and up. Companies like OUC, Duke, KUA, these are all companies that are hiring directly from us. And we literally have about 25 poles in the backyard of where I'm sitting right now. And we teach people how to do exactly what this gentleman is doing. Climb the pole, put the transformers up, string the wire, troubleshoot, underground wiring, all of that's included. Bucket truck, being in the bucket truck, learning how to use that bucket truck, because you'll be doing all of that. These positions start in the mid 50s, and depending on hurricanes and other emergency work that needs to be done, you can make six figures in your first year to year and a half, depending on the work that's available. So it's an exciting and different kind of work. It's not for everybody. If you don't like heights, it's not for you, that's for sure. But if you do, and you like this kind of work, it's very unique. We're the only ones doing this in the area, and we fill up very quickly. We run it 2 times a year. So we do about 30 people a year. Then we have a 6-week distribution operations program. Everything you can think of, from receiving goods to inventorying goods, stacking, racking, packing, and then pushing it back out the other way. If you look around, Amazon, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, huge distribution centers right here in Orlando. Disney's got an enormous distribution system. Matter of fact, the distribution runs from Orlando out to the coast to do the cruise ships as well. And so they need people that know how to operate this equipment, how to be efficient, how to be safe inside the warehouse. So we're teaching that. So you're on a forklift. You learn outside first, so you're running around with it out there so you can't hit anything and you get yourself in a bad spot. And then after that, we bring you inside and you do the stacking and racking and packing and all the rest of it. The truck that you see there, I actually have a little model of my truck. We have 19 trucks now. 19 trucks. We're probably the largest in the area that does truck driving. So in 4 weeks, you can become a tractor trailer driver, meaning you can get your license to be a CDL certified truck driver. We also do CDLB, which is your box truck and your buses. We have done training for Disney and done a lot of their bus drivers. We also have a direct connect to get into Disney for their bus system, as well as Lynx. Huge demand right now that really came out of the pandemic, but huge demand for local and over-the-road truckers. I can tell you that those that go over the road will make really solid money. Now, you're away from your family, but again, if it's something that it works for you and your lifestyle, you can go out for a month, come back, be home for a couple of weeks, and go back out and make a very solid living doing this. And it's not going to go away, whether it's a short run or a long run. Truck driving is not going anywhere. And we do that basically 2 times a month. We'll run a program for CDLA, and CDLB is based on demand. And then a couple other programs here on the medical side. For those of you that want to enter the medical community, this is one way to do it. So you can go the degree path and that works, or you can go the certification path where you'll get your CMAA and your EKG technician if you take the clinical medical assistant and EKG program. It's 8 to 18 weeks, depending if it's a night or a day program. It is lab-based. It's also curriculum-based, but in the end, you get an NHA certification that is very valued by Orlando Health, Advent Health, HCA, Nemours. We have direct links to be able to apply to those organizations that are actually not provided to the public. And the reason why is they know the graduates that come from the program are solid, and they also know that they have certain education that they've been exposed to, and they have the certifications. Super, super important. Medical office specialist is very similar to the medical assistant program, except it only focuses on the front part of the office. So if you don't like blood and you don't like people sneezing and coughing on you all the time inside of a small room, some people don't want to do that. You could go the other route and do electronic medical records, medical coding, front office systems, which is very vital to the office to get scheduling done correctly. But also, doctors don't get paid if coding isn't done correctly, and the front office system doesn't generate the right billing and other paperwork that needs to be done in terms of documentation. That's 8 to 18 weeks as well. And then the final one on this slide is computer numeric control. That's also called machinist. So if you ever wonder how small parts are made, and even like a screw, how is that made, right? Those may be done in mass, but often you cannot do that in mass. You have to make a very specific part for a very specific item. You'll see that with the Space Coast right now. They need very specific things to be made. And the way a computer numeric control or machinist platform works is you basically take a design, you plug it into a computer, you basically plug in the code in, and then the machine will do what you tell it to do. And it will make some really, really cool things. So our mascot is a puma, and you can see here, I'm trying to make sure you can see it. Doesn't like the, there we go. This is actually made from a CNC machine. So if you take a flat piece of metal, you can then have the CNC machine actually carve out or cut not only the Puma in this case, but also Puma Pride. And then what we can do is have our welders actually put this together and make it a really nice little desk ornament. So you can see you can make all kinds of fun stuff with that based on what you tell the computer to do and actually tell the machine to do. 3 more programs: electronic board assembly. Every one of an electronic piece of equipment has a board in it. The difference with boards, though, is some of them can be mass produced. So your toaster oven, right? Your coffee maker, all of them have a small board in them. You have another, or level 2, which is going to be those things like computers or TVs, things that are a little on the higher end of electronics. And then you're going to have the no-fail circuit board. In other words, it must work. If it doesn't, the plane's going to potentially not be in the sky, or the targeting system's not going to work. So these kinds of boards are hand done, and they're done in some cases much, much smaller than this one. We teach how to make this board, how to attach the components on the board, and then how to make sure that it works, that it's no fail, how to make sure that your soldering is done correctly to make sure that you've done a high quality piece here. So this is an art. It takes somebody who's patient, it takes precision, but it's super important to the companies that need these to be done. There's also in that program, there's wire harnessing. So if you think of cars and planes, they all have wires that have to be bundled together, and those wires need to be tight so they're not moving and that they won't fray, but they also have to be able to go to the right place, and they have to be configured the right way. We teach you how to do that as well. And all of those are done based on the requirements that companies are looking for right now, which is, again, super important that we're in synergy with those companies. Industrial automation, it's also called mechatronics, but all of these organizations that have conveyors or lines or manufacturing processes, they all have machines that cannot break down. So basically, these companies have to have somebody that knows how to maintain these pieces of equipment, how to see when they potentially could break down and fix them really quickly. So if Publix has their warehouse down because their automation goes away, after an hour, they have to alert each of the warehouses have to alert that they're down to the vice presidents. And if they're down 2 hours, they have to go higher up because it's that much money and that much of a disruption when these things go down. So these companies pay really well for those that go through the program and have the skills to be able to do the maintenance and repair. We are now getting people placed at Brightline. That's the high-speed train that's going south, and they're paying around $24 to $26 an hour to start once the certifications are earned. And then the last picture you're seeing there, that's Emma. Emma was a degree student that decided she wanted to become a welder. So she took the welding classes, and she learned all of the different types of welding, and that's what she's doing right now. Funny, she has Metallica Scholars on her sweat or her shirt there. That actually was a grant that we received from the band Metallica, the group Metallica. They gave the college $150,000 to help people to be able to become welders and also do mechatronics or industrial automation. And I see there's some questions coming in. I'll get there in just a second, but keep them coming and I'll scroll through and we'll make sure we answer those the best that I can. Locations all over Orlando. These are all the sites that we do programs. Not every program is at every site. So I want you to know that. Our largest site is the Northwest Center. It's between John Young Parkway and Mercy Drive. There's a road called W.D. Judge Drive, and that's our largest center. There's about 7 programs there, but we also have programs that are fixed at Point Siena, Osceola, the East Campus, and the Advanced Manufacturing Training Center. And the other locations we rotate around, but we have programs starting all the time in different places. So, if the program's starting out on the east side, but you need to be in Osceola or vice versa, we can certainly accommodate that based on the schedule. Lots of companies. This isn't even scratching the surface of the companies that we work with. And I know you can see there are many companies on here that you recognize, and there's a lot of companies on here that you might not recognize. And that's the really cool thing about this, is that we can help you to get a job with companies that you know or you don't know. Matter of fact, there's a company, and I don't think it's actually on my slide, it's called Martin Brower. And Martin Brower actually is a very large distribution company that is off of 417 near John Young. And what they do, they supply all the McDonald's in the area. And I've been in this actual site before. Everything from the rolls, the Big Mac buns, French fries, paper products, hamburgers, all of it comes from there. It's picked by very skilled people in terms of getting things ready. Then it's put on the truck, and the truckers then go and bring it and deliver it. And they do it basically 24/7. Most people don't know where that is, and they don't know what jobs are there, but we do. And that's a good thing about it. So if you're looking for a small company, you're looking for a large company, you're looking for something in this area, something out of this area, that's what we do. We help you to connect to those things so you can take the skills and you can take the certifications and move to the career in the place with the company that you're looking for. So we're winding down here. I've got just a couple things here to how do you get into one of these programs? How do you pay for these programs? Because I know that comes up all the time. So it's pretty easy, actually. Part of it is, I should say. fill out a free AST application. You go to valenciacollege.edu/AST-application. It'll take you about maybe 5 minutes to do it. Just depends. It's not a tough application. It gets you into our system. My recruiters, and I've got 6 of them, they are then responsible to respond to those applications within 48 hours, typically. They will then talk to you about what you're trying to do, why you selected the program that you initially indicated. They'll make sure you understand some of the other programs that also maybe are in the same area to make sure that's exactly what you want to do. And then they'll start working with you on the enrollment process. So in some cases, you're going to need your CDL learner's permit. You're going to need your driving record. You're going to need a health exam, like for CDL. Some you're going to have to take a short test to make sure that you can handle some of the content that's going to be in the program, because we want to set you up for success. So we want to make sure we put you in the right program. Nothing that's too difficult, nothing that's going to hopefully frustrate you, but we want to make sure that it's a good fit for you. Once you're done with that, then the recruiter works with you on funding options. So we work with CareerSource, Community Action, veterans organizations, and other providers of funding for workforce. And what we'll do is help to connect you to those organizations and get you started with those. And we have very good relationships with those organizations. We also are very fortunate to have many grants and other funding sources that the college has been able to acquire. We just finished one that was at $1.5 million for scholarships only for any construction program or welding program. So we were able to help hundreds of people with that. We're constantly getting new things all the time. We're constantly using the money up too. So if you come with us and you need help, we will do everything we can to help you to not have debt when you leave the program. It's counter to the program. You're trying to start a career and you're trying to get income coming in. So we want to try and avoid that. Now, while we can't 100% guarantee that we're going to get you the funding, we do everything possible to not turn you away because of funding. And the phone number and the email, if you want to email us, you certainly can at astinfo@valenciacollege.edu. And you can call us, and that is a manned phone during the day, 407-582-6688. Okay.
That was a lot of great information, Dave. Honestly, the chat box, people have been very engaged. I have been keeping track of some of the questions that had come up. So if it's cool with you, I thought we could go ahead and go through some of those questions since people have been so highly engaged. So one of the questions that we had is that a lot of the participants tonight are bilingual and speak other languages. So one of the questions was, I'm very interested, but how do I enter a program if I don't understand English well, if I don't understand the language well?
That's a terrific question. I'm so glad you all asked that as well. So we're very fortunate as well. We have a robust, very strong language program. And the way the language program works, it's the same application, by the way. You can get into the English program and let us know that's what you want through that same link. There's also the 6688 number that I gave you as well. The 582-6688 number will also help you get into that. The language program is specific to where you are. So if you're, you basically take a very short assessment, and it helps you to find out what level of English are you at already, and will put you in the right place to then learn and progress along. There are 9 different levels, so it depends on what level you want to go to. If you start at a level 4, for instance, right, you would be with other people that also are at level 4. So what we don't want to do is put you in a level that's too high or too low, because it's frustrating. So we put you at a level where you kind of test it out, if you want to say it that way. That program is running in blocks of 8 weeks. It is it's a unique delivery system on that, meaning how you take the class. You can do it live if you want to. You can also do what's called real-time virtual. So like we're on from 6 to 7
Okay.
tonight, right? You'll
Yeah.
have a class from 6 to 7 at night, and you'll be on like this, and you'll practice and you'll work with other students at the same time with an instructor. It's huge in terms of its effectiveness. It's very, very convenient. So if you're trying to work at the same time you're trying to learn English, you can do that. Workforce dollars also will help you with that as well. So we can connect you there, but they're really reasonable. And often, if you're working for somebody, your employer will also help you with covering that because it helps with the customer experience.
So if someone is wanting to do another program, do they, I guess they're, what I'm sensing is the question is, do they have to have a certain level of English mastery in order to enter these programs?
Yeah, that's a terrific question as well. Yes. So we do a level 5 is what we need. And the reason why is everything that we teach is in English. Everything that's written is in English. So we have to make sure you're going to be successful there. Number
Okay.
one. Number two, for safety reasons, got to make sure that, you understand, the do's and don'ts of what we're telling you to do. Because, if you're in a very large piece of equipment, you can hurt somebody or yourself. And we don't want that to happen.
Right. And I've had a couple questions too of what is the minimum age for these programs?
So 18 is really the age. If you're turning 18 during the program, we'll still take you. So 18 is really the age. Um, and then it's 18 and up. My average age right now is 34. 34. And by the way, the program depends on the program. Some it's skewed more toward, 18 to 25, and some it's actually, 35 to 45 is where it is. It just depends.
Wow. We also have some people who are asking. One in particular said he's an engineer who graduated overseas, wants to continue education here, specifically industrial engineering. How would he do that? Do you have programs to help with that?
So it depends if that person is looking for the credit side or the person is looking for the accelerated skills track. So not specific in engineering, but what could translate would be like industrial automation,
Okay.
robotics, um, precision optics. That is not engineering, but it's in that space. But if you're looking for something on the credit side, yes, we can help you there too.
And then we've had a couple questions about the medical office specialist, the medical tech. They're just wondering what is about the average cost of those programs?
So the medical office specialist is $4,300. And when I quote these prices, don't let them scare you. And I'll tell you why. Again, most people, 95 or higher, do not pay for the tuition. Okay. We're very, very successful at finding people opportunities with scholarships and whatnot. The medical, the CMA plus EKG, which is a dual certification, is $5,300.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
But again, don't leave this call thinking, oh, I don't have that kind of money. There's no way. Okay. That barrier is something we try, just like we do with giving a bus pass. We do everything we can. There's a couple other nuggets in there that when you talk to my recruiter, depending on where you take a class, there is potentially some sustainability help. What that means is there's some organizations that will help out while you're taking the class and give you a small amount to help you on a weekly basis with things like childcare, transportation, gas for your car, things like that. So those things are available, but not everywhere. Honestly, they're more in Orange County than Osceola right
I
now.
was just going to say, I just recently was speaking to someone about the family sufficiency program here in Orange County. And they specifically talked about working with the Valencia Accelerated Skills Program in terms of how they, will help families that if you really want to be going to school, but you need the time and the ability to do that, and the ways in which they can help financially to allow you to do that. They said that they have ways to help with some rent or pay like an electrical bill or a light bill so that you're able to really be able to focus on how you can do these programs. There was also a question from quite a few people that wanted to know, are they just certifications or they mentioned DBPR licenses? I'm so sorry, I don't know what that is. Do
Yeah,
you
so
know that?
they're certifications, so they're not licenses except for your CDL. That's actually you would
Okay,
go and get your license. You would just like you would get a driver's license, right? The certifications are industry. They're not our certifications. So it's like NCCR or NIMS, NHA, things like that. These are organizations that have created the curriculum that we have to then follow,
okay,
and then they have to. That's why we want to make sure you can handle the content because you have to study it, learn it. Again, we help you walk you through all of it, and then you have to take the test and get the certification, right? So we don't say, hey, you look good to us, you're good. No, you will do the work, you will go through their program within our program, and you will get that. So when you get it, it's, hey, I got this from NCCR, I got this from NIMS, I got this from J standards, right? And that's the value of it. It's not, hey, you got a Valencia certificate. Nope.
right. Right, and that certification allows you to really go to pretty much any of the employers that would be within that field because now you're qualified.
Yep. They're going to ask you, do you have OSHA? You're going to be able to say yes. Do you have EP 608? You're going to be able to say yes. Do you have, uh, basic carpentry through NCCR? Yes, I do. Do you have this? Yes, I do. Right. And that's the beautiful thing about it is where other people would go for that job, they're not potentially going to have that. But if you do, you'll probably get an interview and they won't.
We also have people asking about online classes. How many of these programs are available online?
Okay, all of these are hands-on, so none of them are online. There are some online components to a few of them. So the optics program, for instance, that is a hybrid. It does in lab and also it does online. But generally, we don't do that because to do these skills in a short period of time, you have to actually do them.
Right. And then that kind of led to class schedule for an electrical tech or AC. What is the class schedule like for that, for those programs?
So we'll start the next round of programs for, let's say, HVAC. That'll start in January or February. And if you go online to Valencia College and you put in AST or Accelerated Skills Training under student on the top, you'll see student. You see Accelerated Skills Training. You'll see the schedule right there. Like when you go in and you go to carpentry, you'll see all the carpentry, what the next class is going to be, and where it's located. So, for instance, if you were going to take commercial truck driving, it could be at Osceola, could be at Point Siena, could be at East, could be at West, right? So, most of our programs are going to launch the next round in January and February. So, if you're interested now, I mean, like in December, December's tomorrow, in December, apply and get going because January comes upon us faster than it just.
Oh, right. Yeah. I mean,
You know,
before you know it.
yeah.
We had someone interested in the welding program and they wanted to know, can that be done in phases or area of specialization? How does that one work?
Great question. Right now, we're only doing it as one course, 28 weeks.
Okay.
We offer it as a night and a day version. That may help you. We are thinking about having it as a 28-week program, but you can join blocks of it. We're not there yet. So you would be able to do this block of 8, this block of 8, this block of 8, something like that. We'd learn TIG, then MIG, then stick, then aluminum. We're not there yet, but when we are, you could actually do that potentially. So stay tuned.
And then finally, we have some families asking how to apply for the grants and scholarships. Where would they, like, how do they do that? Where do they find that information?
Yep. So that's the other good thing is we help with that. So a lot of the scholarships. So I have one right now. It's called Open Door, and it's actually state money that is available. Quite frankly, we just need the applicant through us to give us certain documents that show that they've been a resident of the state of Florida for more than a year. Once we have those documents, and we tell you exactly which documents you need. Once we have that, we now know you're qualified for that. If you need assistance, we can then use that grant.
Okay.
So it's not a process like you have to go for like financial aid, FAFSAs, things like that. Not at all. It's much simpler. It's administered by the rules, and then we follow the rules, but it's administered by us.
Okay.
So we're audited all the time for it. So we make sure we stick to it. But that's a beautiful thing. We may have some money that Duke Energy gave us. We may have some money Lockheed Martin gave us. They'll tell us exactly who should get that money based on their criteria, and we apply it.
Wow, that's very streamlined. I also noticed there was a question as we're talking about, you said about being a resident for at least a year. Someone has said that they are on an international spouse visa, and so they're not allowed to work. Could they still do the certification and get a job?
They have to be able to work in the U.S., so they have to be able to do that. Funding could be an issue there with some of the partners, depending on the eligibility. We don't do the eligibility on the workforce funding; we do it on the scholarship. So I'm not sure how that would work. But the way we look at this is these are designed to take the program, get the certifications, go start a career. If the person that can do that, they fit the model. It doesn't mean though that we'll say, well, you don't want to go get a job or you can't get a job right now, so no. What we don't want is people just taking these just because the money's there and you can go do it. We want the end because that's the result that everybody's looking for. Did you go and get a job in Florida?
Right. Also, someone was asking that they wanted the website for the application again. Would you be able to provide that?
Sure. Let's do this. I'm going to pop this up on the screen really fast one more time.
And then while we're answering that, I know we said the minimum age of 18 for most of these courses, but someone is saying, what if I'm in my 50s? Am I able to join or apply for these courses?
Absolutely. It's 18 and up. And when I say up, I mean it doesn't have a stopping point. I had somebody 72 come in and take a class and went to
Oh,
work. Yeah.
that's wonderful.
Yeah. So don't look, if you're thinking there's a barrier there, we're in the business, so to speak, of removing them. So if you're thinking, they won't take me, it's not, it's really all about what do you want to do? If you want to do this and you want to get a job, that's what it is. Now, if you're going to do it for a hobby, we're not kind of in the hobby business, right? So we don't
Right.
really want, because that takes spots from other people, but also funding. If you're saying, hey, I want to learn how to drive a truck now, I'm going to do this. My driving record's great. I could do it. I could work for a local company, whatever. Yep. Come talk to us. Absolutely.
Also, we have someone asking about solar energy classes. Do you offer anything that would tie
Not
into that?
yet. Not
Okay.
yet. We need to, but we're waiting to find out what some of the criteria is going to be. And believe it or not, there's not a lot of certifications that have been established for that because it's kind of new still, even though it's been around for a while. But our electrical program will touch on some of that as well, and that could get you into the solar world.
And then again, we've got some questions coming up. Where can they go to find the cost of the course and the grants that are available?
Okay, the cost of the course will be on the website. So when you go in, I wish I could put it up right now, but it would be a little difficult. That'll be when you look at the schedule, you'll see the cost of the program there. Okay. Again, you won't see on any of the materials that I produce. You'll notice on my slides, I didn't put the cost of the program because that can be a barrier to some people, and I don't want it to be. We will work with you on that. We can't guarantee it. But we're pretty darn successful with it. In terms of the second part you asked me was,
About grants, where they find the grant information.
so they're not going to find the grants there. They're going to find out about the grants through my recruiters. Okay. And the reason why is they change all the time. So what I mean by that is we might get a certain amount of money for Duke Energy and within 3 months it's gone. So by the time we publish it, sometimes it's not there. But we will tell you, here's what we have now. We also will tell you, here's what we think we're going to get. Back a little while ago, we had Hurricane Irma money. Remember that hurricane that came through? We had Irma money that came through. We just finished that, as a matter of fact. And this is the bad thing. The good thing about not having a storm is we didn't have a storm. The bad thing is I didn't get any money. So because you get that for rebuilding, right? But Orange County and Osceola County are super supportive of this as an avenue to go to college. I mean, and so is the governor right now and the legislature. So there are always funding sources that are coming our way. Okay. So when you see the price that's on there, I know, hey, look, you see $7,000, you're like, whoa. That's what it costs us to do the program. We don't make any money. Okay. But we will do is help you to get in, best of our ability.
I noticed that somebody was asking about that family self-sufficiency program. I am going to go ahead and put, it's a rather long link, I apologize. But if you Google Orange County Family Self-Sufficiency, it will take you to the site. And then I also included the link to the site just so that someone would have that. And then when they were, we have some people asking about timeframes of classes, meaning like what days or time do classes start?
Okay. Depends on the class. Generally, it's between 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning for the day classes, and they'll be done between 3:30 and 4, depending on the class, because it's all based on hours. Some of the evening programs start at 6, some start at 5. It just depends on the class. And I know people hate it depends answers, but it really does on this case. Again, the schedule is very fluid in the sense that it's never the same, right? It doesn't change. Like tomorrow you'll see something different than, but we'll do like a night class and we'll do 2 days and 2 nights and 1 day, then 2 days, or 2 nights all the time.
Well, and I think that's, I mean, that's important because it's a two-sided coin. You want flexibility. And if you're too rigid, then that creates a problem. So you need to have some fluidity there. It do do the applicants have to be a US citizen to be able to apply for any of these scholarships?
Uh, Again, as long as they can work in the United States, there are, and again, they have to show residency sometimes. It just depends on the program, or I'm
Okay.
sorry, the scholarship program. Some of them don't have those. We had one with Bank of America that was much more lenient than some of the ones from the state. There's another one I want to tell you all about. If you're a City of Orlando resident, listen really quick here, because there is a program that the city has right now. It's called the RISE program, RISE.
Okay.
That program, if you're eligible, and again, you have to be a city resident and you have to be taking a training program like the ones I've been describing, they will help support you with $125 a week for 8 weeks. And they will pay you on a weekly basis to help support you while you're doing this. And that's through the city, right? They've been doing it for about 2 years now,
Okay.
right? And then there's another program that you may be eligible for that we have with our Northwest Center, depending on some criteria as well. Like I said, there's a lot out there, a lot more than maybe you're thinking.
And I was just trying to Google that to see if I could get some more information for them. While I'm doing that, someone is asking about GED programs. Is
We
that
don't do
something that,
those. We don't do those, but I do know people that do. So UCF actually has a grant and they're doing some work with helping with GEDs. Actually, I believe they're doing it downtown now, at the UCF campus downtown.
and then someone else was talking about that they have heard about the Valencia dual enrollment. This is different than that, correct?
Correct. Correct. Yeah, this is not while you're in high school, and it is not eligible for dual enrollment where you would be in high school and do this. I'd love for it to be, but it's not designed that way. A lot of that is because of the age. Again, of being 18. Down the road, it could be, but it's not eligible for dual enrollment.
Right. And if you have a student that's interested, every high school in Orange County Public Schools has a college and career specialist on campus. I would call the school and I would ask, who is your college and career counselor? Who's the college and career specialist? And they would be able to share a lot of information about the dual enrollment for Valencia. We have another attendee who's saying they have experience in finance area. And is there some training related to like accounts payable, receivable, cash management, budgeting? Do you have anything that would connect to that?
Not for accelerated skills training, but we do have that in the certificate programs that I'm showing right now. There's a QR code there, and also degree programs as well. Certificate programs, short and sweet, they basically take a core group of courses that apply to a degree. So you can get a certificate, or you can continue on and get your degree. So you can get one or both.
Oh,
So
okay.
think of certificate as I finished the core part of the curriculum. That's all I need. I don't need the rest of it. I just need to learn this part of it. That's what certificate programs do for you. So they're
And
different
then,
than certificates, certifications.
okay. And then as someone was saying, comp TIA plus certification is not in the program.
No, we used to do that. We pulled back on that for right now because it's really hard to teach that in a very short period of time. It's
Okay.
pretty intense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Melissa was trying to get into the sign up page and she said it's giving her an error message.
Hmm.
So I don't want her to feel like we're not being, attentive to that because I love the fact that she's such a go-getter. She's on the sign up page already. She's trying to sign up.
I'm gonna go there myself really quick and make sure it's not down or something
Okay.
crazy. So when you go, Melissa, if you're listening, if you go to the Valencia college.edu, and it's for everybody as well, and you go to the top red banner that you'll see there, you'll see Valencia College, and right next to that you'll see students. And if you go there, you'll see accelerated skills training. If you click down on students, you'll see accelerated. You know what? I can show this. Hold on. I
You
just realized I
mentioned
can
that
do that.
RISE program. I'm also, Dave, popping in the link to the homepage for that RISE program.
Great place
That
to start as
so
well
that
because
people, yeah.
they'll help get connected. So if you go, I'm in the Valencia site now. If you go to accelerated skills training, it'll take you to apply now right here. Okay. So if that link for some reason isn't working, it should be, but I'll check on that. And then if you want more program information about the different programs that I just went over, just hit program information here. Or if you just want information, you don't want to apply yet, you just want information, you can go here and we will then send you more information. But if you go here to the programs, that's when you'll see the different buckets of programs. And then if you want to know more about the programs, you go down here and you see all the different programs.
Okay. I'm going to
And
go ahead and make sure I put that link in the chat as well for people, just to make sure that they have it. So literally where you just were, the link I just shared in the chat would take them right where you were just
yes,
there.
yep. And then what I did in here is I went into a program. So I'll go into robotics, for instance. And when you go into the program, it'll tell you a lot more about the program. Okay. It'll tell you what you're going to learn, way more than I gave you here, even though it was a lot of information. Requirements, certifications, but then you get the schedule. So this one's going to start January 16th to June 25th, June 25. There's your price. Don't let that scare you. I hate showing that. It's just reality. We have to. But it'll show you we have 2 sections that are coming open and when they are. And if it's night, it'll show it to you right there. So everything is there, right? We constantly update this.
And we have an attendee who says they have an AA general degree from Valencia. Are they still able to apply to one of these programs?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, we have people go from accelerated skills to degree and degree to accelerated skills.
And then if we also had a couple of people saying, if I'm already in college, can I still apply to these programs?
Yeah,
Okay.
you sure can. It's just a matter of can you
Um,
handle both, right?
right. Making sure you can manage it. But
Yeah.
I love the idea of trying to make sure that they're broadening their opportunities. And then I have an attendee who says they're in the customer service field and looking to get out of the office. What would be the best program to look at, especially if they wanted to go into like real estate?
Ooh, Probably more on the degree side, because you'd be able to get real estate courses actually that would then get you in there, because you're gonna have to get a license to do that. So there are courses that we have that actually will help you to get that license. So that's not going to be accelerated skills for something like that.
Okay.
But again, we can help you if you call the 6688 number, for instance, right? We can help you if accelerated skills isn't the right place for you, based on what you want to do, because it's really all about what you want to do. We will then steer you to the other places in the college where you can get what you need.
I did have someone asking about language options for next time. I do want to let everyone know that we are actually going to do another Valencia Accelerated Skills training session in April. I know that that's a bit of a ways off, but we are noticing how many people wanted to be able to have some other language options. So I will be talking to Dave and looking at the opportunity that when we present this again, how we could do it with maybe some real-time translation, because there was such strong interest. And we
I
do
can absolutely, I'm not the person for that, but I know who is, and we would absolutely do that. Short and sweet, by the way, if you go to continuing education, so it's right below accelerated skills, go to continuing education. I wish they put language programs, but they don't. You can actually get to accelerated skills here too, but here's your language programs. And then when you go there, it tells you all about the language programs.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
But if you're interested in doing that and attending that down the road, I can absolutely give you way more of the nuts and bolts on that, and in both English and Spanish.
And then finally, Jay, you might have been joining us after we addressed this, but Dave, again, can you share why most of these courses are not online? Like there may be components, but why it is
Sure.
a face-to-face, hands-on experience?
Absolutely. If you're going to do these programs and you're going to go into these fields, you have to like learn it and do it, learn it and do it. Because if you're going to build something, doing it and watching somebody do it is completely different than doing it yourself. So they have to be hands-on. If you're going to make one of these circuit boards I was showing, you have to do it, and not just once. You're going to be doing it and doing it and doing it, because you want the confidence. So when you interview, they're like, "Have you ever done this?" Yeah. Here's a picture of me. Hey, here's one of my boards. This is what I did. I think I know what I'm doing. Okay, I didn't do this, by the way. It's not easy to do, but we teach it. But look, this says it all. I did this and it works, right? You can't do that if you're online, because there's no labs and there's no way for you to practice it. And when you get stuck, to have an instructor that says, "Oh wait, hold on, time out, you missed a step. Back up, do this. Now you're good." And that's magic. It's really good.
Well, I did drop a link in the chat to allow participants to give us feedback. I know that we went over time, but I really want to thank you. This was a very popular and hugely successful session tonight. So I will be reaching out, Dave, and we can connect again about when might be the best opportunity. I know we've got a session set up in April. And if after talking or seeing the responses here, you think we need to look for a time to do that before we hit April, I will definitely be open to doing it, because I feel like this obviously met a tremendous need with our families here tonight. We had a little over 300 registered, and at some point, our largest participation, we were hitting 200. So we had a lot of families that were definitely tuning in and really do want to make the most of these opportunities, because they do care about their livelihood and the opportunities they're able to provide for their kids. So your time was
Well,
invaluable.
thank you. I'll say one last thing in closing. If you're curious, act. Just talk to us. If you know somebody like, this isn't for me, but I know who it is for, share it. Because a lot of people just don't know we're doing this, and the opportunities are amazing. I know we're over, but I'll tell you this very, very, very short story. I'm in the barbershop. I'm listening to another guy down the chairs. he's kind of distraught. His son just can't find that thing that he wants to do. He's tried some things, hasn't worked out. And so, of course, I'm over there and I'm listening to all this stuff. And I go, hey, when you're done, come see me. He's like, well, who are you? I said, just come see me. So he came, he talked to me. I said, tell me about what your son wants to do. Like, what's he good at? Next thing you know, his son is with him going in doing a tour. And by the way, we welcome you to come and do a tour. We will walk you through and show you everything that we can. Anyway, he did a tour. He ends up signing up for the program. This gentleman is now working for Brightline, making $25 an hour.
That is wonderful.
And it was just because, and he didn't know it existed until he happened to bump into me. So if you know somebody, tell them we exist and tell them to apply and we'll help them. We'll try.
Well, again, thank you so much, everyone. If you have a minute to go ahead and complete the feedback survey, that's always helpful. If you have any more questions or concerns, please feel free to go to the Valencia website. And like Dave said, reach out if you have questions, even if you think it might not be for you, or if you think, I don't know how I'm going to make this work. I can't tell you how many times in just listening tonight, Dave says, we'll find a way. I have no doubt he will. And that's what's so great about the Accelerated Skills program, is that they really are here to try and help you change your life. If you've got the desire, if you've got the will, Valencia has the way. I firmly believe
Absolutely.
that. I'm a strong advocate of this program, and I've seen it make a huge difference in the lives of our families. So again, Dave, I cannot thank you for your time. I cannot thank you enough. I will be reaching out and we'll be doing this again.
I'd be glad to. And it's my pleasure tonight. This is what I love doing it. So I'll be glad to do it again.
It shows. Well, you have a good night. Good night to
You
all of
too.
our OCPS families. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Take
Good
care,
night.
everyone. Good night.